All right, everyone. I'm Erik with the Kneaux, and today we're talking fantasy football sleepers. So these next couple of weeks, I know that it's a very big time to start drafting your fantasy football teams. So I figured this would be a great time to give you some sleepers at each position. So starting off with the quarterback position, we got Mr. Jaden Daniels. Jaden doesn't have a very strong strength of schedule this year. He's going to have lots of opportunity, and they have tons of weapons there in Washington. I think Jaden's going to have a big season. He has a lot of rushing ability. I think that's, it's really going to help Jaden out this year. So moving on to the next guy is another guy with a ton of weapons and a really weak strength of schedule is Jared Goff. I know Jared Goff's not the most exciting guy in the world to draft in your fantasy team, but I feel that Jared has a really safe floor. I think Jared, he's never going to bomb you a game, might not explode every game, but he's always consistent, steady Eddie, going to get you at least 15 points. So another guy, same thing, is another guy that finished off the year really strong last season, Jordan Love. He has the three-headed monster at receiver, Luke Musgrave, and now Josh Jacobs coming out the backfield. That's only going to help out that passing game. So like I said, tons of weapons. The strength of schedule is very weak. So I feel like that's another guy in the NFC North that can really help you out. So we got Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, and Jordan Love. And my deep sleeper at the quarterback position, stick with me on this one, is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has nothing to lose, I feel like, this year. But he has the number one fantasy player in Justin Jefferson. And I feel like he has nothing to lose. Tons of weapons with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. When TJ Hawkinson comes back and then Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield, he really has a weak strength of schedule as well. So like I said, Sam Darnold's a deep sleeper at the quarterback position. You're looking to grab somebody late. You're looking for a bye week fill-in. Sam Darnold could be somebody that you could snag off the waiver wire. So switching over to the running back position, we got Zamir White with the Raiders. I feel like Zamir White is going to have a ton of opportunity. I feel like that's his backfield. He's going to get a ton of passing work. We saw it last season at the last few games of the year. He really came onto the scene strong. This next guy, I feel like, is another guy we've seen do it in waves, at the running back position. That's Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary is now with the Giants. He really has he really has a weak strength of schedule and tons of opportunity. Same thing. It's his backfield to lose. I feel like Devin Singletary is going to catch a ton of passes this season. That's another sleeper at the running back position. Now, these next two tandems I'm going to give you is somebody that you could pair up with a backfield mate. So stick with me here. So with the Cleveland Browns, you got Nick Chubb, who had that devastating knee injury last season, who won't be ready for a number of weeks. So if you have an IR position in your league, you could grab Nick Chubb, stick him in the IR spot, and then grab Jerome Ford. And we've seen Jerome Ford do it before. He's a guy who could do it all. He could catch and go out the backfield. He could take it and, he could run it. He could catch it. Best of both worlds, right? So if you pair up Jerome Ford with Nick Chubb, stick Nick Chubb in your IR position. Same thing with these next two guys. It's two guys that are in a backfield. So you grab Jonathan Brooks. You won't be ready for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. So if you could stick him in your IR spot and then grab his backfield mate, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba, same guy, same kind of guy like Jerome Ford. He's a guy that we've seen do it before. He's a guy that, he could catch it and go. He could run it. So he has a PPR upside, So that's two guys that could give you a little bit of wiggle room, as well as you could utilize your IR spot. So my deep sleeper, the running back position, is Gus Edwards. Hang with me on this one, but with Gus Edwards, I feel like with Coach Harbaugh likes to play defense and he likes to run the ball. Gus Edwards is a guy, same thing. We've seen do it before. We've seen it in waves. If he could stay healthy, I feel like Gus Edwards is a deep sleeper at the running back position. somebody that could really come onto the scene, give you a strong RB2 finish to the season. So let's move on to the wide receiver position. My favorite target at the wide receiver position is DJ Moore. I feel like DJ Moore is going to have a huge season with Caleb Williams, and they have other receivers there. You got Keenan Allen, and I feel like you can't double team any of these guys, So you can't double team any of these guys. Somebody's going to be open. I feel like DJ Moore will be in for a huge workload. He's going to have a big season. Next guy, I feel another guy that's going to have a big season with a rookie quarterback is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's same thing. He's not going to bomb you in a week. He's going to give you, 5 or 6 catches for at least 50 yards. But I feel like this season with Jaden's going to put it up. He could go get it. He's somebody that has a lot of upside this season. I feel like Jaden's going to give him a ton of work. He's going to have a big workload ahead of him. Just somebody I'm really excited to watch. Next guy, I feel like is a guy that doesn't get talked about enough. He's starting to pick up a little bit of steam, is Rashee Rice. Now, Rashee Rice could keep his nose clean. He's Patrick Mahomes' number 1 receiver. Outside of Travis Kelce, his second target. Hollywood Brown's hurt right now. I feel like Rashee Rice is really a guy that's in for a big, big season. Now, my deep sleeper at the wide receiver position is Keon Coleman. This is a guy that's buried down in the wide receiver rankings, close to 50 in some places. And he's Josh Allen's number 1 target. I feel like this is a guy who doesn't get talked about enough. Yeah, he's a rookie. Yes, they have the tight ends there. They have James Cook coming out the backfield. But I feel like Keon Coleman's going to give you a decent season at least. I feel like he's definitely going to outplay that number 50 role. So if you're in a 3-receiver league or somebody you're looking to grab late, I feel like Keon Coleman is a prime target to give you a wide receiver 2 season. So moving on to the tight end position, I feel like Brock Bowers is going to be a guy that, you could just dump off passes to a true quarterback outlet. And he has a really weak strength of schedule as well. So this next guy, I feel like, is a product of just having lack of weapons, lack of targets. Pat Freiermuth is a guy with the Steelers that I feel like even if Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, we've seen both of those guys utilize the tight end position before. So I feel like Pat Freiermuth could be in for a big season this year. This next guy is another guy, just lack of weapons in the offense. Now, it's not the most exciting team in the world, but Hunter Henry with the New England Patriots, I feel like is a guy, same thing, kind of like Sam Darnold. If you're looking for a bye week fill-in, you're looking for somebody, you waited too long at the tight end position. There's nobody left. This guy's a red zone target. He's a guy that he might give you 2 for 20, but he might give you, a couple touchdowns in a week. We've seen him do that before. So I got 2 deep sleepers at the tight end position. I got Chigakonkwo in Tennessee and Taysom Hill in New Orleans. Chigakonkwo, I feel like, is a guy who doesn't get talked about enough. A good, young, athletic tight end who, he could scoop. You give him the ball in open space, he could go. And Taysom Hill, you might see him line up at fullback, running back, wide receiver, and quarterback. So it's just a true offensive weapon. So I feel like that's a guy, same thing, bye week fill in. If you waited too late in your draft, you could do a lot worse than Taysom Hill. So moving on to the defense and special teams position, I got 3 of them. I feel like 3 teams that are playing that have a really weak strength of schedule. Got the Steelers, the Saints, and the Falcons. My deep sleeper there, I feel like this is going to be an up-and-coming defense within these next couple of years, is the Chargers. So moving on to the kicker positions, I got Younghoe Koo and Matt Gay. You want high-scoring offenses, and both of these guys playing a dome, that's only gonna help them out. So this next guy, I feel like, is a offense I'm really excited to watch. I feel like he's in for a big season. These guys are going to score a lot of points, and we've seen him do it before. Carlos Santos in Chicago. I'm excited for the Chicago offense. And you push the ball down the field, you score a touchdown, unless you go for two. That kicker is always going to be there to get you out of a sticky position. You know, if you can't punch it in, Carlos Santos is sure leg as there is out there. And this next guy, my deep sleeper, same thing like Carlos Santos. I feel like he's going to have a ton of opportunity. Is the new Washington kicker, Cade York. Now, Cade has been kind of up and down. He's been kind of sporadic in his NFL career so far. But, I mean, trading for a kicker, that's not something that we see very often in the NFL community. So I feel like Cade York could be in for a big season, a lot of opportunity. So good luck in your fantasy season. I hope this video helps you out. Thanks so much for tuning in.